video is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment plan for you. The views expressed are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of Freedom at the Mat. We are not liable for any results for elective actions you take after consuming this content. Thank you for choosing this Well Chat. To support future episodes, consider purchasing a Freedom Art Mat or Vegan Leather Journal at freedomatthemat.com. We're a nonprofit dedicated to improving the lives of women globally through wellness education and appreciate your support. Now, on to the conversation. Hi, everybody. It's Olivia with Freedom at the Mat Well Chat. So today I am thrilled to be talking with one of my all-time favorite doctors. I know that we shouldn't have favorites, but Dr. Lauren Powell happens to be one of mine. She talks about a topic that I just love, which is food, but not just any food, healthy food. And if you want to keep these conversations going and be notified, be sure to like and subscribe. So, Dr. Lauren Powell, how are you today?
Very well, Miss Olivia Scott.
You've been here before, and we just love when you come to Freedom at the Mat Well Chats. I know you have something very much in store for us today, so thank you for joining us. So, you're a very busy physician, and you're also a nutritionist, and you have that dual perspective about health as well as nutrition. Can you tell us what has shaped your belief in food as medicine?
So much of my journey started after my dad had a health scare, and he was someone who medically was doing all the things the doctor told him to do, taking pills in the morning, taking pills in the evening, but something bad still happened to him. And that's when it became abundantly clear to me that something was missing from the conversation. And that huge piece is food and lifestyle. You can take all the medications in the world, but if you are not changing the food that you eat, how you move your body, your sleep, how you manage stress, disease can still come. And so it completely reshaped how I thought about disease and really felt almost a disservice to my patients if I did not talk about their food, their stress, their sleep, because the reality is we weren't going to optimize them. And so that's kind of where that conversation of food took me and that journey took me. Unfortunately, it's hard to have sometimes these conversations in the clinic. Like, in a typical insurance-based doctor's office, we have 15 to 20 minutes with a patient. We have a laundry list of things to discuss. We have to make sure they had their mammogram. We had to do all, there's all these things, these boxes that need to get checked. And so the conversation, this huge conversation about food, sometimes is either left out or not just given the depth that it needs. And so that's the journey I've been on and how we met since 2017. I've just been on this journey of the same message and just delivering it in different ways.
Because you believe that food truly is your medicine.
I believe it is the most powerful drug that we have, and it can do good and it can do bad. Food is not neutral. Anything you eat is doing one of those two things. Anytime you eat, that food is either taking you in the direction of disease or it's taking you in the direction of better health. There is no food that you can consume that's just neutral and is doing nothing. And so knowing that, I think we have to consider this thing that we're consuming on a regular basis and how it is affecting our bodies and trying to just make better choices. I'm not saying we have to be perfect. I'm not saying we have to eat vegetables and and say no to all the yummy sweets. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying if food is either taking us in the direction of health or sickness, I want to consume more things that are taking me in the direction of health. That's what I want to be regular. That's what I want my family regularly consume. That's what I want my patients, my parents, and my community to also have in mind.
Dr. Powell, I know it's going to sound very simple of me to ask you this question, but it's a dying question I'm having right now around what's actually happening in the body that people may not realize when good food is coming in versus bad food. Because I think, we all hear diet and nutrition, exercise, diet, nutrition, exercise. But if you could break down in a layman's way for people to understand what is happening when I fuel my body with water, with fruits and vegetables and lean meats, right? Versus I am putting fried foods in it and I'm putting donuts in it. And again, we're not eschewing and saying those things can't ever happen, but just help us understand what's happening in the body we may not realize when you're putting good food in our bodies versus things that are not as good.
So when you think about heavily processed food, when you think about foods that have lots of sugar, foods that have simple carbohydrates, the biggest thing is they're spiking your blood sugar. So you eat something, that thing is digested and your blood sugar immediately spikes. But it spikes fast and then it comes down fast because it's just simple carbs. It's just sugar. And
Mhm.
so what you have is the blood sugar going up and the blood sugar going down, which is why you can eat something, feel okay, and then you just immediately feel tired. And immediately you not just feel tired, now you've spiked your glucose. Now insulin is being released from your pancreas and you actually get hungry again. So you eat something, your blood sugar spikes, it crashes, then you want to eat something again. And it becomes this vicious cycle where you're never really satiated. You don't
Mhm.
really have great energy. Your
Mhm.
body is not, I mean, imagine if you were giving yourself, if you were doing that to your car, like putting a little bit of gas, just enough for it to get one block, and then it's empty. And then you got to like that can't be good for your car's engine to be running like that. And so what you want to do is put good fuel in your body. You want to put fuel in your body that's going to sustain you. It's going to give you energy, consistent, slow energy. We're not talking about spikes. We don't want to go up and down. And so when you eat complex carbs, things that have fiber, things that have fat, things that have good protein, you're giving yourself energy that is sustainable. You're not causing inflammation, you're keeping things nice and even in your system, and you're just cruising. Your body can do the things that it needs to do. Your brain is getting the energy that it needs. All your organs are getting the things that it needs. It can heal, it can digest. You're just giving yourself the fuel to consistently maintain.
Thank you so much. And I believe I read somewhere that salt also affects the blood vessels and kind of stresses them out. Am I onto something? Did I capture that right?
We hope you're enjoying this well chat. As a gentle and loving reminder, we're a nonprofit dedicated to improving the lives of women globally through wellness education. To support this podcast, visit freedomatthemat.com and consider purchasing a Freedom Art Mat or journal to keep these convos going. Now, back to the conversation.
So what happens is salt attracts water, right? And so
Okay.
when you're consuming really salty foods, and I'm not talking about cooking with salt, because generally when we cook with salt, we're not being excessive. But it's
Got it.
about when we go to the drive-throughs, it's about when we're eating like processed things or things that comes in bags, boxes or jars that contain lots of salt. What happens is you're consuming that salt is in your bloodstream, and now it's bringing water into your bloodstream as well, and that's what causes your blood pressure to go up. And that's what also can make people feel kind of swollen or edematous is because they're consuming such a high salt that's bringing in water that's then increasing the pressure in those blood vessels.
Got it. Thank you so very much. So now that was very helpful for me because I think once you actually understand what you're doing to your body, I think for most of us who want to be well and want to be happy and want to be healthy, when we understand
Yeah.
what's actually happening, when we make choices to put certain things in our body, it may curb that desire because you're like, oh, if I do this, it's going to have that particular effect beyond pounds, right? Beyond the
Yeah.
aesthetic, like literally in your body. So thank you for clarifying that for us. So, Dr. Powell, there's often a perception that healthy eating is very expensive and inaccessible. And I know that you've been challenging this narrative in your work, and you have a food truck, a mobile food truck launching June 28th in Atlanta. Can you tell us more about what you're doing with this mobile truck? I think it's called Live Well Now, Wellness in Motion. Am I correct?
Yeah, so Live Well Now is my whole kind of metabolic health brand that I'm launching. And it's really about bringing health to where people work, worship, and play. Sometimes it's really hard to access the healthcare that we need. Sometimes it's really hard to access culturally competent healthcare. And so, again, same message about food, but how do I package it? And so the Lord dropped this witty idea in my mind. My friend was saying, like, I see you having a restaurant. And I said, I was cooking for her, and I said, I don't really see myself having a restaurant because my thing is teaching. So food, but learn something, right? Like eat well, but learn something because when you learn something, now you can do something different at home, right? And so I had the Lord dropped this idea in my head about a mobile wellness unit, a unit where I can again reach people no matter where they are because I'm mobile, but there's a teaching kitchen on one side and then there's a clinic on the other side. So oftentimes there's a little bit of a
Mm,
disconnect between my health status and food. I understand this is my disease state, but what does that mean with my food? There's often a disconnect. And so how can you connect it in one activation, in one live event? And so my plan is what we've been doing is it on the clinic side, you come in and you get a metabolic health screening where you get your weight, your blood pressure, your waist circumference, blood sugar. You can also do things like cholesterol. You can find out data about your health. I've created an app called Live Well Now app. You put all that data in the app. The app gives you automatic feedback right then about normal and abnormal. You come around to the other side, and then in real time, you learn how to eat to improve those numbers. And what I try to do is make it very meet the needs of the people that we're serving. So, for instance, we had an event on May 2nd, and we served women who were facing homelessness.
Mm,
So, if you're a woman that's facing homelessness, you have a lot of barriers when it comes to just eating in general. Not just eating well, you're trying to provide for your family, but you may not have somewhere to live. And
right.
so I taught them how to make a healthy meal for $2 a serving, everything they could get at their Walmart, because some people may not have grocery stores, but if you have a convenience store or
Right.
something. So again, we're trying to meet people where
Right.
they are so that will serve them best, right? Because if I teach you something that's you're inspired and it tastes good, but it's like this is not realistic to you, then it doesn't really matter because your behavior is not changed. And I'm trying to change behavior. And so with Live Well Now, it's about there's things we want our bodies to be able to do later in life. We all want to age well. We all want to be disease free. We may want to be off medication, but in order to live well later, there's some things we have to do right now. And right
Right.
now, I mean, we have to live well now in order to live well later. And so it's
Yeah.
about not waiting for disease, not waiting until you feel bad, not waiting until you're hospitalized to start making changes now. Because
Got
now is not, I mean, it's not too late, but we have to do it now. We really just don't have time. And so that's my message. And that's why the brand is called Live Well Now, because it's about what can we do right now to live better.
You're right. I know when I ask people who like, I just changed my entire diet, I'd say about 85 to 90% of them, when I ask them why, they're like, oh, the doctor said that so if we can just be more proactive about this, it will prevent all the chaos that happens when you're trying to go from like eating horribly and trying to reverse a disease, perhaps something that's irreparable, to being proactive about it. So you said that the Lord planted this in your mind, and I am one of those where spirit talks to me every single day. So I fully understand that, and you're being obedient. I'd like to know more about what inspired you to take healthcare and nutrition out of the traditional spaces and into the community with an actual mobile wellness van.
I mean, I think there are things that the healthcare system does really, really well.
Okay.
Like, my father last year was diagnosed with cancer. He was able to get amazing treatments, like new innovative treatments, and is cancer free. I've had friends and family members who have been in horrific car accidents, and because they were able to get immediate medical care, they're well, right? So I think there's things that the healthcare system is doing really, really well, but I think there's things that we're missing the mark on. And I think we know where to go when we're sick, but where are we supposed to go to be well? Like, where are we supposed to go reliably, reliably, because there's a lot of stuff on the internet, there's stuff on the social media that anybody can put out. Where can
Right.
people go reliably to learn how to be well? And there's no place. There is no place. And so to me, I'm just trying to give solutions to clear problems that are there. We have more medications than we have ever had in the history of the world. We have
It's
more weight loss medications. We have more medications for diabetes. I can't even keep up with all of the medications that we have for
mm,
diabetes. There's a new class of blood pressure, a new class of blood pressure medications that have come out. There are more medications than there have ever been before, but the chronic disease burden is higher than ever before. So the problem is not a lack of medicine. The problem is not a lack of medical technology. That's not the problem. The problem is there's a lack of education. The problem is that patients are over medicated and undereducated when it comes to their health. When it comes to their health. And so, how do we fix it? There is no solution. And so, I'm trying to be that solution. I'm trying to be that solution.
I love it. We're grateful to you, and we're grateful to you heeding what came to you in spirit. So I'm in Atlanta, June 28th. I pull up to the Live Well Now Wellness in Motion teaching kitchen and clinic. What can I expect to experience?
So, the launch event is really to show our community partners that we're here. It's really an opportunity to let people know this is what I'm doing. I've been working on this for a while. And so, I'm trying to just get the word out. I want people to experience what it would be like if their organization, their church, their community brought the unit. So we're going to have a small farmers market there. We're going to be having a movement coach doing some movement and physical activity. We're going to have some massage people there. We're going to have some IV therapy. We're going to have like a bunch of different things going on because my hope is that when the mobile unit contracts with other businesses and corporations for us to come and be of service, this is what we bring to them. We bring to them an entire wellness activation.
Love
So
it.
that's my goal when I thought of this. We work in kind of two arms. One is a corporate arm where we're trying to serve corporations and their employees because I feel like corporations have a great position to be of service to their employees in this way of being this like source of like, listen, we want to
Right.
provide you with reliable health information. It's a
Correct.
benefit to employers to have healthy employees. You want employees that feel well and can come to work. And
Yeah.
so an employer that's willing to invest in an activation like this for their employees, that's one arm. Our other arm is we have a nonprofit arm, and that helps us to be able to serve those that we know really, really need it, but maybe financially are not able to pay for it. And so through grants, donations, and through some of our corporate dollars, we still want to be able to serve those that need it, like the moms that are facing homelessness and churches and nonprofits and those kind of places.
Thank you so much. I believe sincerely, my body is happier, just feels happier when I am putting good food in it. So, you educating people around no matter what socioeconomic status, that eating well is good for you. I believe people are going to feel the benefits. They're going to want to do it more and more because there's so much. I mean, a lot of times eating well is inaccessible, right? It's very expensive. But if you educate me, I love what you said about us being the most over medicated and undereducated society around food and health and nutrition. I remember some years ago someone doing a demo for me about going to Walmart and what I could do with that produce department.
Yep,
It just takes education,
that's it.
around it.
And if you give people the tools, they can make the best decisions they can with what they have.
Right.
That's it. And then they can teach their kids and they can listen, when you go into a store and you have this amount of money, this is what, this is how we prioritize that.
Got it. As you're building this out, I'm envisioning, of course, an element that's also showcasing easy movement, walking,
Mhm.
a little yoga. Is that something that's in your brain, or am I kind of
Yeah,
planting
I
that
want
by
to
a little
touch
bit?
on all aspects of being well, all
Okay.
aspects. And so, yeah, our goal is to bring movement wherever we go. Our
Okay.
goal also, I would love to be able to partner with local farmers and teach people how to grow stuff because you may be
Yes.
in a food desert, but maybe you
Yeah.
can do a little pot and grow some tomatoes or you can grow, you know what I mean? So even
Yes.
equipping people, because I don't want to just again inspire people and then leave them like, okay,
Right.
that was great. No,
Yes.
what tools are we giving people so that they can live differently? And so whatever we can give people and serve them in that way so that they can be like, okay, this person came,
Yeah.
this truck came and they taught me how to do this and I learned this. If you take one thing away, like I learned to do this and this is this thing that you incorporate and it's a part of like what you do, like that's the goal.
We share that philosophy. I'm always about education. When I'm teaching my yoga classes, I'm like, okay, I may never see this person again or whatever, but I want them to know what we're doing, why we're doing it, and proper form. So just want them to walk away being better educated and enlightened. I want to talk about overall wellness for Black women. As you know, Freedom at the Mat, we are intentional about creating spaces and holding space for women, particularly Black women, to find their wellness. So I know that you are expert in nutrition, and one of the things I'm curious about is how do you think the Black woman can reclaim nutrition in a way that honors cultural food traditions while still supporting long-term health? And I think where I'm going with that specifically is so many of us are connected to our comfort food, things that we just love that are a part of our traditions, which may not be as healthy for us. So, how can you help us reclaim nutrition in a way that still honors those cultural
Well,
food
to be
traditions?
honest, I mean, I think honoring our ancestors is growing our food and eating well. Our ancestors grew food. They farmed. They had fresh fruits and vegetables. They didn't eat from fast food.
Right,
They didn't
right.
eat processed food. No, they ate in the kitchen. They ate home cooked food. And I think
Yeah.
the stuff that's taking us down is not when we cook unhealthy food for our family. I think it's the food that we're eating outside of our own kitchen.
So,
That's what's
getting
taking
back to
us
cooking.
out. That's what's taking us out. The processed food, the stuff that we can't control the ingredients, that's the stuff that's taking us out.
That's it. That's it. If I am 100% clear and fervent that I have to have my collard greens with ham hocks, I have to have my roast beef, I have to have on Sunday meals, I have to have my macaroni and cheese and my apple cobbler, what would you tell me?
Well, I would definitely encourage because collard greens can be healthy, right? So I'd say, like, if you want to have them, can we just think about other ways that we can have them that still taste good, that serves your body a little bit better? And
Okay.
then when people can think about things like macaroni and cheese, apple pie, like those are things that we should have on a special occasion. I'm not someone that feels like we need to make macaroni and cheese healthy. I think we should respect macaroni and cheese as it is, but
I
I don't
love
think it's
it.
something we should be consuming on a regular basis. I think it's something we have on the holiday, it's something we look forward to, and then we have it for that one meal, that dinner, and then we're done. We're not eating it for the whole week after. We're not, it's not taking us down this rabbit hole of bad habits. So I think that we can still enjoy some of those tasty meals, but I just think it can't be a part of the what we regularly consume because your health is really dictated on what you're consuming the majority of the time. And so what are you
Correct.
not what you're consuming on exceptions,
Got
but
it.
what is your regular diet? What is the regular things that are a part of your everyday work week dinner and lunches and breakfast?
So, Dr. Powell, what are some common myths that you see in our community about healthy eating that you'd love to clear up?
Um, I think some people think like if you're vegan, you're automatically healthy, but that's not true because there's
Why?
unhealthy vegan and just there's unhealthy options, like there's super processed vegan or vegetarian items. So I think that doesn't automatically mean it's healthy. It doesn't automatically mean that you're getting all the macronutrients that you need. I think, again, the idea that to eat healthy, it has to be really, really expensive. To be honest, meat is going to be the most expensive thing you purchase. So if you vegetables are not expensive, I mean, you go farmer's market, beans are not expensive.
Yeah.
Grains are not expensive. So really, like eating is expensive. I took
Eating is
my kid and my babysitter and her daughter, they all came over and I said, "Well, do you guys want lunch?" And they said, "Yeah, we want Chick-fil-A." And I was like, "Okay." And it was three of them. And the meal was $46. And I was
that's
like,
it.
I can't believe I spent $50 on fast food. I didn't even know Chick-fil-A cost that much.
That's it.
But
That's it.
I mean, food is expensive.
Yeah.
Eating out
Eating
is
out is
expensive.
it's really expensive. It's like to your point, like I've been pescatarian for a while. And with the recent inflation with things, I've just had to cut back. And so I've been doing more tofu. I know I have to get my protein, so I'm getting my protein from tofu. And I'm like, this is a good time for people to consider like going vegetarian. So, Dr. Powell, can you tell us how stress, cortisol, and emotional wellness intersect with what we eat, especially for women carrying so much?
Right. So, first of all, when we're stressed, that's very inflammatory to our body. When you're stressed, when you do not sleep, your cortisol, your hormones are going to be all out of whack, and it's going to affect your metabolism. So you're going to wonder why you cut back on what you're eating, but your weight hasn't changed. You're going to wonder why your body seems to hold on to things, and it's because your body is in a very stressful state. And if your body is under stress, it's not thinking, "How can I lose weight and be super well?" It's in survival mode. Like if you're running from a lion, your body is just trying to fuel your organs and get you out of danger. And so that's kind of like the state that you're keeping your body in when you're stressed out. And then not to mention, I'll have patients that have like a lot of concerns and symptoms and I'll do a bunch of blood work and I know that that blood work is going to not reveal anything because I've listened to how they describe their day. I've listened to how they describe how they feel about their work, their stress, their unhappiness, their lack of fulfillment, their lack of sleep, their lack of relationships and connections. And I know that is what's making them not feel well. I can't test for that, but I can test for these other things and tell you that those things are okay. So that may make us have to look at our lifestyle and other things that have physical manifestations. Like loneliness has physical manifestations. When you don't have
Mm,
relationships and you don't find meaning in your life and in your work, that has physical manifestations. When
yeah.
you are sad, when you're grieving, that can have physical manifestations. And so a lot of times our life, I mean, your body is speaking. It's like, are you going to honor and listen to it you know, or not?
So, if someone who's listening who is a stressed woman, if she can commit to two changes this week to feel better in her body, What would you recommend?
I first recommend to kind of, if she can try to just take some time to figure out what's causing her the most stress.
Okay.
Because sometimes if we can identify that, we can come up with a solution. Like maybe you just need some extra help at home. Like how helpful would it be for you to have like someone help you out for 3 hours a day? You know, and that could be a major thing that gives them now the freedom to exercise, the freedom to cook, like, so sometimes it's just identifying what that major some for so many people it's their work and they feel very stuck.
Right.
And I understand, like, in this economy, there's a lot of job instability. People feel like they have to stay where they're at. And my thing is, what if we don't? What if we can update our resume? What if we can let our friends know, hey, I'm looking around and looking for opportunities. If anything comes your way, that makes you think of me, please let me know. Like, what if we just start having those and sometimes I find that patients, just by them starting to look for other opportunities, it makes them feel better because they
Mhm.
almost feel like a light at the end of the tunnel, or that they're not trapped. So
Right.
sometimes I say, just try to identify that thing that's bringing you so much stress and just be willing to face it. If it's a relationship, if it's whatever it is, like it will do your body so well. And then again, like I really want people to sleep. Like the amount of people that I meet that like haven't slept in like decades is just beyond me. But sleep can just be so restorative, not just to your physical body, but like mentally and spiritually. I think when we sleep and we're like rested, you can hear things, you can hear your own thoughts, I just think it's so good for the body. And so that would be my other thing I encourage people to do.
Thank you. So identifying the stress and sleeping. So as we round this out, I could talk to you forever, and I do mean that literally. I could totally nerd out with you. What are three non-negotiable foods or habits you think every woman should prioritize?
Water.
Okay.
I think a lot of us just aren't drinking enough water. We go from our coffee in the morning, we do maybe our sweet tea or our whatever throughout the day. So I just think it's important that we're always drinking water. Yeah, just keep your bottle with you at all times. That's what I tell. Just keep it with you. If it's with you, you're more likely to just grab it because it's there.
Right. But
So I
how
think
much? Dr. Bell, since we have you, how much? Because there's so many theories. Some people say 64 ounces. Some people, or some, they say the theories are saying have half your weight or double your weight. Like
yeah,
what, how much?
it's half your weight in ounces. So if
Half
you
your
weigh
weight.
150 pounds, that would be 75 ounces of water. And I would say
Okay.
that's just like if you're just like in a regular day. Now, if you exercise, if you went for a run outside and you sweat and you've lost water, you're going to need more because you have to replenish the loss as well.
Okay.
So I'd say half your weight in ounces is just like baseline if you're just being like not just like regular day, not sweating, not losing. If you're sweating and losing from excessive exercise, then you need to have some more to replenish that. So I say water, something everyone needs to prioritize. I try to encourage people to have one raw meal a day. I think that's really good. I think it's a way for you to just get in lots of servings of vegetables. Yeah, I think it just challenges people to eat differently, to try things they may have never tried. But I try to do one raw meal a day. Let's see what else. I think protein is like a huge one that people just aren't getting enough of. I would say like protein and fiber. So I'd say, thinking about protein with every meal and then thinking about 1 to 2 snacks that are protein based. So either like a protein shake, nuts, apples with peanut butter, just, two protein with every meal, and then two protein snacks a day. I think is a good, like, just easy thing to try to shoot for. And then
Okay.
fiber is a huge one. So fiber is what's going to prevent that rapid spike in blood sugar. Fiber is what's going to help keep you full. Fiber is what's going to be good for your digestive system and have healthy bowels and things like that. So fiber is going to be things like from your beans, from your whole grains, from some of your fruits and vegetables. So really prioritizing fiber. And there's a recent article that came out that was showing that fiber in menopause is really helpful for menopausal symptoms. And so I did have like a whole YouTube video about that. So fiber and complex carbs are definitely going to be our friends. I did want to did want to say before we wrapped up and I forget is that I'm doing a 3-day metabolic health workshop for women. And it's 3 days because I know I can't do it all in one day. So I'm going to be teaching about your health numbers that you should all know and understand. So blood pressure, blood sugar, glucose, cholesterol. I'm going to break it all down so that people understand what their numbers mean so they can interpret them and kind of can monitor for changes because again, we don't want to wait for things to become abnormal, but
Correct.
only you will notice if there's things in your numbers are trending. So if your blood pressure is always 110/70, and then the next time you come to the doctors, it's 130/80. Well, 130/80 is normal, but that's not normal for you because you've always but no one is gonna, you have to be, you have to manage that. Like you have to kind of be over your numbers in that granular detail. So that's what I want to empower people to do. So session one, I'm going to really go into that nitty gritty of understanding your numbers and what I want people to know and understand. Session two, I'm going to go over like grocery shopping, foods to avoid, foods to incorporate, all that good stuff. And then session three, we're going to be doing a live cooking class together. You'll get your grocery list a couple days before. We'll cook and we'll do a Q&A, and you can ask me any questions that you want. So that is metabolic health with drlauren.com, and you can register for that. It's only for 50 people because I don't I want to keep it kind of intimate so I can give the people what they need. But that's going to be the first 3 Thursdays of July, so people can register for that.
Dr. Lauren, we appreciate your time today and thank you for the invitation to join that. I have personally attended your workshops and there are things I learned in that workshop that I still tap
Mm,
into as I'm cooking to this day. You are a teacher, you are an educator. We're so grateful that you have dedicated your life to doing this work, to educating us, and so willingly, so freely, and so earnestly and authentically. So thank you.
thank
I would
you.
like for you to tell us what success looks like for you beyond this launch. Like, what is your
Mhm.
vision for the work that you're doing? I know that this mobile van is just a part, it's really a vehicle, literally, figuratively, pun intended, for what you're doing. But what does success look like for you, and what kind of ripple effect are you hoping to create in the world through your work?
Well, I'm hoping like in the immediate that like the need for the mobile unit rises so quickly that we need to get more units out there. And there's units serving all different communities. I had somebody reach out to me about wanting to do a unit and wanting to serve different like the Vietnamese community and different, and so then it's about just how do we make our curriculum culturally culturally competent. How
Yep.
do we translate, and not just translate the words, but we have to change the recipes because you
Right.
cannot go into a Vietnamese community and tell them that they can't eat white rice. They're not going to listen to anything you have to say, right? So how do I make it, how do I meet that population where they are and say, okay, if we're going to consume white rice, we need to add some fiber to it and we need to add some fat to it so that we can, so making these, so we have to be able to reach, again, we're mobile, so we should be able to reach people no matter where they are. And so my goal is that we're getting units all over the world and that I'm sitting at a level where I'm just changing curriculum and content to serve different populations and programming in that way.
Beautiful. If every woman listening today walked away with one truth about her health and her power
Mhm.
relative to her health, what would
Yeah.
you want her to think?
Well, I believe that we all have like a purpose. We all have something that we are meant to do, someone we're meant to serve. I believe we all do. And I feel like my purpose is to help people be healthy so that they can do their purpose. And I feel like if we do not optimize our health, we're going to cut our own dreams short. We're going to cut our own dreams short. So I
Yep.
really want to empower people that, and maybe that's the thing for them. Maybe that's the thing that motivates them, the thing that they feel so called to do, the family they feel called to serve, the community they feel so called to serve, whatever ministry, whatever that is. I want you to do it and do it well, but we have to be healthy in order to do it. We've
That's
got to
right.
be able to have your body do what you have to be, you have to have health in order to be able to do it. So I really just want to empower you that whatever it is that you want to do, you got to be healthy enough to carry it out.
Gotcha. Your health is your wealth, truly. Well, Dr. Lauren Powell, we thank you again for the work that you're doing, for being a nutrition missionary, if you will, for people all over the country. I love the fact that your vision also includes international populations because there are certain particularities with different diets and different cultures that need to be addressed as well. And we wish you well
Thank you.
for your June 28th launch and send you blessings. I pray and hope this is going to be a success. I think
Thank
it's
you.
needed. And I hope that you get more success than you can wildly imagine and have to have multiple bands all throughout the country. And for everyone watching, I hope that this particular episode was valuable to you, gave you some nuggets about nutrition and how putting good food in your body affects your body in a positive way. May God continue to bless you. And once again, if you enjoyed this conversation, be sure to like it, subscribe it, and share it with someone. And the details about Dr. Lauren Powell's upcoming workshop will be in the description below. Make sure to support her as well on all platforms online. May God continue to bless each and every one of you. Ashe.